Oh gosh, oh no. Look how fast he's going. Oh no!
Not all killers come with claws. Some crawl slowly, glow brightly, or bloom in your garden. Others hide in water, waiting for your next swim.
Wait a minute. That touched something. Yeah, there's tentacles all over.
From venomous frogs and carnivorous plants to invisible fungi that devour the brain, what you don't know can cost you your life. Stay with us as we count down the 20 terrifying things in nature you should never approach. Bullet ant. You stand in the heart of the rainforest, sweat on your brow, breath shallow, when a creature barely 2 inches long turns your world into fire. It isn't loud, it doesn't fly, but one sting from this ant, and it feels like you've been shot. Meet the bullet ant, an insect so ferocious, its sting has been likened to taking a bullet, and it earns that title without exaggeration. Found in the dense jungles of Central and South America, the bullet ant doesn't look especially terrifying. What this ant carries is pain, raw, unrelenting, and total. The Schmidt Sting Pain Index, the official scale for insect sting intensity, ranks it at the absolute top, a scorching 4+. Victims describe the agony as searing electric shocks, pounding through nerves, lasting for an unbearable 24 hours. This torment isn't by chance, it's the venom. Honorotoxin, a neurotoxin that hijacks your nervous system and turns your body against itself. Muscles spasm, joints lock, pain echoes through every nerve ending. So if you ever cross its path, remember, it may be small, but the pain it brings is monstrous. Brazilian wandering spider. Silence falls over the forest floor. Then, a flicker of motion, swift, deliberate, and deadly. The Brazilian wandering spider emerges from the underbrush, not to hide, but to hunt. Unlike web-bound spiders that wait in ambush, this one roves through the night like a living trap, guided by sharp reflexes and venom strong enough to stop a heart. Feared across Central and South America, it's often found in unexpected places. Nestled in boots, hidden beneath logs, or tucked between banana clusters during harvest. Its presence is unsettling, but its behavior is worse. When threatened, it raises its front legs in a vivid, unmistakable display, an aggressive warning, a signal that it is ready to strike. The danger lies in its venom, a powerful neurotoxin that attacks the nervous system with brutal efficiency. Victims may suffer intense pain, muscle paralysis, and in rare cases, death. Its venom surpasses that of many snakes, including the rattlesnake, in sheer potency. Though anti-venom exists, every bite is a race against time. Encounters happen in moments of carelessness. This spider does not retreat. It advances. With speed and precision, it commands both fear and respect. It is not the size or the fangs that terrify, but the knowledge that it acts first, and without hesitation. Golden poison dart frog. Some of nature's most dangerous creatures wear their warning in plain sight. The golden poison dart frog, no larger than a paperclip, stands out with a brilliant yellow glow against the shadowy rainforest floor. Its color is not for beauty. It is a signal, a final warning. Native to Colombia's Pacific coast, this frog carries one of the most lethal toxins known to science. Its skin is coated in batrachotoxin, a substance so powerful that a single frog holds enough to kill 10 adult humans. Not by bite, not by injection, by touch. The toxin disrupts nerve signals, seizing control of muscles and halting the heart with terrifying speed. There is no antidote. This poison is not just a defense. For centuries, indigenous tribes have used it to tip blow darts, turning the frog into a silent partner in the hunt. A precise, efficient weapon crafted by evolution and refined by culture. Even more astonishing, the frog does not create the toxin itself. Scientists believe it absorbs it from a specialized diet of beetles and ants found only in its natural habitat. When raised in captivity, deprived of that diet, the frog loses its toxicity entirely, proving that its power is borrowed from its environment. Giant hogweed. Even the most innocent-looking plants can conceal a devastating secret. Standing over 14 feet tall, crowned with grand white blooms, the giant hogweed appears almost majestic. But beneath that towering beauty lies a dangerous truth. This plant doesn't just irritate the skin, it can disfigure, disable, and even blind. Originally from the Caucasus region, giant hogweed has spread rapidly across parts of North America and Europe, taking root along trails, riverbanks, and roadsides. Its most dangerous feature? The sap. Clear and almost undetectable, it contains compounds called furanocoumarins. When this sap touches the skin and is then exposed to sunlight, it triggers a process called phytophotodermatitis, essentially a chemical burn. Within hours, skin begins to blister. Within days, it can blacken. The scars may last for years. And the threat doesn't end there. If the sap reaches the eyes, temporary or even permanent blindness is possible. There is no remedy, only immediate washing, shielding the area from light, and waiting. Despite its risk, giant hogweed continues to fool the unaware. Its flowers resemble oversized Queen Anne's lace, drawing in curious hikers and unsuspecting children. But what seems like a natural marvel is, in truth, a biological hazard. This isn't a plant you pull, prune, or play near. It is one you avoid. Even a brush against it may cost you more than you expect. So when you walk the woods and fields, stay alert. Manchineel tree. Although it appears peaceful, casting soft shade and bearing fruit that resembles a small green apple, the manchineel tree is one of the deadliest organisms on Earth. Standing along sunlit shores from Florida to Central America, it hides its danger behind a familiar silhouette, a leafy canopy inviting branches and fruit that whispers temptation. But beneath that disguise lies a toxic arsenal that punishes curiosity. Every part of the manchineel is laced with potent toxins. A single bite of its fruit, aptly nicknamed the little apple of death, can cause excruciating burns, throat swelling, and potentially fatal reactions. Yet the peril doesn't end there. Its bark and leaves release a milky sap so corrosive that contact with skin can cause blistering welts. When rain falls on its branches, droplets carry the sap down in invisible rivulets, making standing beneath it in a storm an invitation to agony. Even its smoke is dangerous. Burning the wood releases fumes that can cause blindness and severe respiratory damage. Local communities mark manchineel trees with warning signs or bands of red paint, an urgent signal for travelers and beachgoers to steer clear. It is a tree best admired from a distance, if at all. Box jellyfish. We often dream of turquoise waves and endless blue horizons, imagining peace beneath the sun. But hidden in the warm, shallow waters of the Indo-Pacific and northern Australia drifts one of the deadliest creatures on Earth, the box jellyfish. It moves without sound, nearly invisible, yet possesses a venom so lethal it can stop a human heart within minutes. This creature does not roar or charge. It floats, delicate, translucent, and unassuming, but contact with its trailing tentacles unleashes a surge of agony. Each tentacle holds thousands of microscopic stinging cells, firing venom that attacks the heart, nervous system, and skin simultaneously. Victims experience unbearable pain, paralysis, and in the most severe cases, cardiac arrest before they can even reach shore. What makes the box jellyfish so terrifying is not just its potency, but its stealth. In clear, inviting waters, it is nearly impossible to detect. Swimmers rarely realize what they've touched until the pain sets in. Sharp, immediate, and overwhelming. While recent advances in medical research have shown promise in developing an antidote, there is still no widely available cure. Prevention remains the only reliable protection. In known danger zones, heed every warning sign. Avoid the water during peak jellyfish season. Protective gear isn't optional, it's essential. Cassowary. Love the wild? Then you might find the cassowary captivating at first glance. Brilliant in color, elegant in posture, and unmistakably ancient. But behind that exotic beauty stands one of the most dangerous birds on Earth, a living relic with the instincts of a predator and the weapons to match. Found in the dense rainforests of northern Australia and Papua New Guinea, the cassowary resembles something out of a forgotten era. Towering up to 6 feet tall, with a helmet-like casque atop its head and striking blue and red markings across its neck, it walks with quiet intensity. Yet its most fearsome feature lies lower. 3 powerful toes on each foot, one armed with a claw nearly 5 inches long, shaped like a dagger. When provoked, the cassowary does not hesitate. It charges with explosive force, capable of running at speeds over 30 miles per hour and leaping more than 5 feet into the air. Its kick is not a bluff. It is a weapon capable of breaking bone and, in rare cases, ending lives. Killer berries. If beauty alone could deceive, then deadly nightshade, also known as belladonna, would be nature's most exquisite trap. With delicate purple blossoms and glossy dark berries that shimmer like ripe cherries, it lures the unaware with elegance. But beneath that charm lies a lethal secret. Every part of this plant is soaked in poison. Used for centuries in assassinations, rituals, and misguided medicines, belladonna is among the most toxic plants known to science. A handful of berries, or even a few chewed leaves, can trigger a biological collapse. It begins subtly. Dry mouth, dilated pupils, and blurred vision. But soon, the poison tightens its grip, flooding the nervous system with alkaloids like atropine and scopolamine. Delirium follows, hallucinations twist reality, and in severe cases, breathing ceases, the heart stumbles, and the end comes swiftly. Its danger is not in what it does, but in how silently it does it. No sharp thorns, no foul odor, just quiet menace wrapped in beauty. Children have picked its berries, mistaking them for a treat. Even adults, drawn by its elegant appearance, have fallen victim. In medieval times, belladonna was a tool of silent killers. Just one dose slipped into wine, and the deed was done. Jimpy Jimpy tree. Some plants warn with thorns or foul scents, but the Jimpy Jimpy tree offers no such courtesy. Hidden deep in the rainforests of northeastern Australia, this unassuming plant, also known as Dendrocnide moroides, holds a reputation that borders on myth. But make no mistake, its pain is entirely real and profoundly brutal. This tree doesn't stab or sting in any ordinary way. Its leaves, stems, and even the fruit are covered in fine, needle-like hairs, nearly invisible to the eye. When touched, they pierce the skin and inject a potent neurotoxin that triggers waves of unbearable agony. Victims compare the pain to electric shocks, burns, and hornet stings, all attacking at once. The torment doesn't end in minutes or hours. It can last for days, weeks, or in severe cases, months. Locals call it the suicide plant, not for drama, but because its sting has been reported to drive people to desperation. And the danger extends beyond touch. Wind passing through its branches can carry fine hairs into the air, causing respiratory distress, nosebleeds, and skin irritation. Brain-eating amoeba. This next one sounds like something out of a horror movie, but it's very real and absolutely terrifying. Naegleria fowleri, better known as the brain-eating amoeba. Yeah, that name alone should be enough to keep you far away. This microscopic killer lives in warm fresh water. Think lakes, hot springs, even improperly chlorinated pools. It doesn't enter your body from drinking water. Nope, it sneaks in through your nose when water gets pushed up during swimming or diving. And once it's in, it travels straight to your brain and starts destroying it. Fast. The infection it causes is called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, PAM for short. And here's the scary part. It's almost always fatal. We're talking over 95% fatality rate. Symptoms hit within a few days. Headache, fever, vomiting, then confusion, seizures, and coma. Most people don't survive longer than a week. That's how fast it wrecks your system. The worst part? There's no guaranteed cure. A few experimental treatments have helped some survivors, but for now, prevention is your best shot. That means avoiding freshwater swimming in warm climates, especially during summer. If you do go in, keep your head above water and don't let it shoot up your nose.
Okay, now it's time for the open discussion.
If you ever see this, don't stop running, because what slithered out of this desert town looks like it belongs in a nightmare, not reality. With razor-sharp fangs, glowing red eyes, and a body stretching longer than a school bus. What is this creature? Why did it appear on a random dirt road in broad daylight? Would you stay and film or run for your life? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to mention #OpenDiscussion. Cordyceps fungus. Just when you think nature couldn't be more inventive or more horrifying, it unveils a parasite that doesn't merely kill its victims, it possesses them. The cordyceps fungus, a real-world parasite that infects insects and transforms them into lifeless vessels controlled from within. This isn't science fiction. It begins when a spore lands on an unsuspecting ant, beetle, or spider. Slowly, silently, the fungus invades the host's body, spreading through tissue and muscle, manipulating the nervous system. The insect, no longer in control, is compelled to climb higher and higher toward light and elevation, obeying the parasite's hidden design. Then comes the final act. The host latches onto a leaf or branch in a death grip, holding still as the fungus completes its takeover. From within the exoskeleton, a stalk erupts, often bursting through the head. From that grim spire, new spores are released into the air, drifting downward to repeat the cycle. It's not just a death sentence, it's a blueprint for spreading horror. Black mold. Is this the most unsettling intruder of all? The one that doesn't roar, creep, or slither, but settles quietly in the walls of your own home? The answer might be growing behind your drywall. Black mold, scientifically known as Stachybotrys chartarum, a silent invader that transforms safe spaces into hazardous zones. Often mistaken for harmless mildew, black mold appears as dark, patchy growth on walls, ceilings, or hidden corners. But what it releases into the air is far from harmless. Its spores carry potent mycotoxins that, when inhaled, can trigger severe health effects. Respiratory issues, chronic coughing, skin irritation, nosebleeds, and in extreme cases, lung failure. These are not distant threats, but real consequences faced by those exposed. It thrives in damp, enclosed areas, behind tiles, under carpets, or within insulation. Floods, plumbing leaks, and poor ventilation give it the perfect breeding ground. And once it takes hold, it spreads fast. Removal isn't as simple as scrubbing it away. Without proper containment, disturbing it may unleash a greater concentration of airborne toxins. Many discover it only after symptoms begin, when the body reacts before the eyes notice. That faint, musty odor in your basement? It could be a warning. Not every danger announces itself loudly. Death cap mushroom. What is small, quiet, and deceptively innocent, yet capable of ending a life with a single bite? The answer hides in plain sight beneath forest canopies and even city parks. The death cap mushroom. Smooth, pale, and perfectly shaped, it resembles many harmless wild fungi. But appearances deceive. This is one of the most lethal organisms you can encounter in the natural world. Its poison, amatoxin, targets the body with ruthless efficiency. Once ingested, it silently infiltrates the bloodstream, making its way to the liver and kidneys. The cruelest twist? Symptoms take hours to appear. By the time nausea, vomiting, and pain set in, irreversible damage may already be underway. Without immediate and aggressive medical treatment, death is a very real possibility, often within days. One cap is all it takes. Found across Europe, North America, and spreading quietly into new territories, the death cap continues to fool even experienced foragers. Its deadly mimicry of edible mushrooms has led to countless accidental poisonings. Families have unknowingly cooked with it. Children have picked it in play. Some have recovered, but many haven't. There is no guaranteed cure. Survival may require a liver transplant, and even then, outcomes vary. Experts warn that unless you're a trained mycologist, foraging mushrooms is a gamble few should take. Pitcher plant. Many think of plants as passive, sun-loving fixtures of the forest floor, rooted, harmless, and still. But the pitcher plant rewrites that story with quiet, calculated precision. This is not a bystander in nature, it is a predator. With its tall, tubular leaves shaped like elegant chalices, the pitcher plant appears ornamental at first glance. But within that beauty lies a design built for deception. Around the rim, it secretes a tempting nectar, rich and fragrant, an irresistible lure to unsuspecting insects. The moment they land, the trap is sprung. The inner walls are waxy and slick, sending the victim tumbling into a pool of digestive fluid below. Struggling is futile. Escape is nearly impossible, and what follows is a slow dissolution, one life absorbed to feed another. While most pitcher plants prey on insects, some larger species have evolved to ensnare small vertebrates, frogs, lizards, even birds in rare cases. These are not myths. These are facts of evolution, formed in swamps, rainforests, and nutrient-poor soils where survival demanded innovation. You won't find this plant in the shadows of folklore or fantasy. It grows in real landscapes, Southeast Asian jungles, South American wetlands, and even parts of North America. Nature gave it stillness, but also strategy. Saltwater crocodile. Even in a world where sharks capture headlines and dolphins charm the masses, there is one ruler of the waterways that answers to no one. The saltwater crocodile, ancient, immense, and merciless, has dominated rivers, coasts, and seas for over 200 million years. It is not just a predator, It is survival incarnate. The largest living reptile on Earth, the saltwater crocodile, can exceed 20 feet in length and weigh more than a ton. Found in the rivers and estuaries of Southeast Asia, northern Australia, and parts of India, it is equally at home in freshwater or the open ocean. It drifts unseen beneath the surface, waiting with infinite patience. Its attack is a masterclass in ambush. With only its eyes and nostrils breaking the waterline, it remains invisible until the precise moment it explodes into motion. The target never stands a chance. Wild boars, deer, water buffalo, even humans have been seized in a flash, dragged under, and silenced. Its bite is the most powerful in the animal kingdom, strong enough to crush bone with a single clamp. Cape buffalo. Never assume that danger comes only with fangs, claws, or a predatory snarl. Some of nature's most formidable forces graze quietly in the grass, until provoked. The Cape buffalo, one of Africa's most dangerous animals, is a thunderstorm in disguise. Calm at a glance, catastrophic when challenged. Weighing over 1,500 pounds, this massive herbivore might resemble a placid cow, but appearances mislead. When threatened, the Cape buffalo doesn't retreat, it charges. With a full-force sprint reaching speeds up to 35 miles per hour, it transforms into a battering ram of muscle and fury. Cape buffaloes are known to double back on hunters, launching surprise attacks long after a confrontation seems over. This isn't instinct alone. It's intent. Protective of their herd and fiercely defensive of their young, they move as a unit, and when one falls, others respond. The defining feature of the Cape buffalo, its horn structure, includes a hardened base known as the boss, an armor-like shield that absorbs impact during clashes. When two bulls collide, the echo rivals a car crash. Against humans or predators, that impact is unforgiving. Even lions, apex hunters of the savanna, approach with hesitation, for good reason. The Cape buffalo has earned its nickname, Black Death, not through legend, but through lived encounters. Giant African land snail. When danger moves slowly, it's easy to overlook, but speed has never defined threat. The giant African land snail, a creature that appears harmless at first glance, yet carries the power to disrupt ecosystems and endanger human health in a way few pests can. These oversized snails, some as large as a rat, have been spreading through parts of Florida. Their impact isn't just agricultural, they pose a serious public health risk. Hidden within their slime trails is a parasite known as rat lungworm, which can cause a rare and potentially life-threatening form of meningitis in humans. A brief, unnoticed encounter with contaminated surfaces can be enough to expose someone to the parasite. But the destruction doesn't stop there. These snails are insatiable. They consume over 500 species of plants, eroding biodiversity and damaging crops. They even gnaw on stucco, paint, and concrete, seeking calcium to strengthen their enormous shells. Their reproductive rate is equally alarming. Hundreds of eggs in a single clutch, and multiple clutches per year, making them nearly impossible to control once established. Would you recognize the threat hidden in something so slow, so seemingly benign? The giant African land snail proves that danger doesn't always come with fangs or venom. Sometimes it crawls quietly, multiplies quickly, and turns a peaceful garden into a public health crisis. Apple snail. So often in nature, danger hides in the bright and unexpected. Such is the case with the apple snail, a freshwater invader whose name may sound harmless, but whose impact is anything but. Beneath its slow crawl lies a threat that disrupts ecosystems, endangers pets and humans, and signals its presence in the most striking way: neon pink eggs. These vivid, bubblegum-colored clusters aren't decorative. They're warnings. Laid on rocks, trees, and docks along waterways, each cluster contains hundreds of toxic eggs. Merely touching them can cause severe skin and eye irritation. That bright color is nature's equivalent of a glowing "do not touch" sign. But the real threat runs deeper. The snails themselves are known carriers of rat lungworm, a parasite capable of causing a rare and potentially fatal brain infection in humans. Consuming one, accidentally or undercooked, can result in neurological damage, hospitalization, or worse. Invasive and relentless, apple snails have rapidly spread across southern regions of the United States. They feed voraciously on native aquatic plants, destabilizing wetland habitats and threatening local species. So the next time you're near a pond, river, or marsh and spot a strange pink mass on a tree or rock, Resist the urge to investigate. This isn't art, it's a biological hazard. Oleander. Someone might walk past it and pause, drawn in by the brilliant pinks, creamy whites, or radiant reds. It's easy to admire. It stands tall, lush, and vibrant, like the crown jewel of a garden. But behind those petals lies one of the most dangerous plants in the natural world. This is oleander, a beauty that kills in silence. Every part of the oleander is infused with potent toxins: leaves, flowers, stems, even its milky sap. A single leaf, if ingested, can trigger nausea, vomiting, slowed heartbeat, or fatal heart arrhythmia. In extreme cases, exposure leads to seizures and death, and the danger doesn't stop at touch or taste. Smoke from burning oleander can be just as deadly. Its toxins survive flame. Still, it thrives in public parks and private gardens across warm regions, particularly in the southern United States. Why? Because it is drought-tolerant, fast-growing, and endlessly blooming. A landscaper's dream, a forager's nightmare. Pets, children, and even unsuspecting campers have fallen victim. Stories exist of marshmallows roasted on oleander sticks that led to emergency hospital visits. A few chewed leaves can turn an ordinary afternoon into a life-threatening event. Monkshood. This one wears its warning in shades of deep indigo and royal violet, blooming with grace and elegance that captivates the eye. But the moment you lean closer, the truth emerges. Monkshood, also known as aconitum or wolfsbane, is not a flower to be admired lightly. It is one of the most toxic plants ever cultivated by human hands. Grown in temperate gardens across Europe, Asia, and North America, monkshood deceives with beauty. Its helmet-shaped blossoms have inspired poets, artists, and gardeners for centuries. But beneath that striking surface lies aconitine, a powerful neurotoxin that attacks the body with terrifying precision. Touching the plant bare-handed can cause numbness and tingling. A more significant exposure can lead to respiratory paralysis, slowed heartbeat, and, in fatal cases, sudden cardiac arrest. There is no medicine. Symptoms can strike within minutes, and the outcome depends entirely on speed, luck, and immediate medical intervention. Historically, monkshood was used to lace arrows, poison drinking water, and silence enemies in ancient times. It was not merely feared, it was revered. Today, despite everything, it still finds its way into home gardens because of its undeniable visual allure. Nature hides real danger behind beauty and silence. Which one would you never want to face? Comment below, hit like, and subscribe for more terrifying encounters from the natural world.